Sonia, my computer now says that we are live. Can you confirm that?
Yes.
We are live. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'll start again. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see everybody. Apologies. The only apology I have at the moment is Councillor Newport. Are there any others? Okay. Are there any substitute members? Okay. Non-members attending. I don't see any non-members attending. Can you confirm that, Sonia?
No non-members, Councillor.
Okay. Right, members, just before we move on to the minutes, can I remind you that part of the minutes are exempt documents and need to be dealt with under private and confidential. So if anybody wants to raise any issues under that particular part of the minutes, we will need to go into private and confidential. And can I also, while we're on the subject, remind members that the update that we will receive later, we shouldn't be straying into any sort of commercialisation of the situation, because that again would be need to come under private and confidential. So members, can I just remind you of that? Okay, you've all had copies of the minutes. I will take it that unless anybody wants to raise their hand to raise either an issue or object, I will take that as read, and as soon as practical, I will sign the minutes off. I see no hands raised. Sonia, can you confirm that for me?
That's right.
Thank you. Item 5, excuse me, to receive declarations of interest. Is there anybody, if anybody members wants to raise any? Yeah, I see no raised. Councillor Ainu.
Chairman, I'd like to raise a non-pecuniary interest, being the chairman of the Rochford Chamber of Trade.
Any others? Can I remind members, if any particular point comes up during the course of the meeting, please let me know as soon as practical, and we'll make a note of your declaration of interest. Thank you, members. Item 6, update on the asset delivery programme, at which point I'm going to hand over to Matt Harwood-White, Assistant Director, who will take us through the document.
Evening, Chairman. Evening, members. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. I'll just present the report briefly. Thank you. Chairman, this report this evening is for noting, and it provides a report on the Council's asset delivery programme, specifically progress achieved since the meeting of full Council on the 19th of May. Chairman, as the Senior Responsible Officer for this programme, following that meeting, I have initiated negotiations with GB Partnerships, our preferred bidder, in consultation with the portfolio holder for Enterprise. As set out in the report, Chairman, the negotiations are seeking to confirm the financial commitments and the other terms contained in the tender reports and the final business case, as well as addressing the matters specifically referenced in the preferred bidder letter at the last meeting in the exempt appendices. Chairman, as set out in the management case and of the final business case, a partnership board has been established, and that consists of GB Partnerships representatives and also senior council representatives, including myself, the strategic director, the section 151 officer, and the portfolio holder for Enterprise. Chairman, the partnership board is currently operating in shadow format until the contract is signed. It had its first meeting in June, and discuss progress regarding negotiations of the 3 work streams as set out in the report, Chairman. The role of the Shadow Partnership Board is to oversee the work of the 3 work streams in order that the contract between both parties can be concluded. And once both parties are satisfied that there is a contract which is acceptable to both of them, this will be set out in a further report to a meeting of Council in September of this year. Although at this point a formal date has not been yet set, that will happen once the negotiations have been concluded. Chairman, that concludes my brief presentation. And as you set out, Chairman, the report is for noting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Harwood-White. I'll go to the members of the Working Party and the Shadow Partnership Board as to whether they wish to add anything to the report at this stage. And then I'll go on to questions. Okay. The first one hand up that I have is Councillor Adrian Eves. Over to you, Councillor Eves. We can't hear you, Councillor Eves.
Apologies. Thank you, Chair. Just one point, really. We have an item under risk implications, and the report states that the risk is being managed, and this is a live document which is continually being updated. I think it would be appropriate for this committee if we actually, whenever we had a meeting, if we had view of that updated risk risk document, especially in light of recent events and the possible implication that it may have on council finances. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Harwood-White, would you like to comment on that?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, as Councillor says, it's a live document, and I'll be happy to share that with members as a exempt document, Chairman.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, next person I have on my list here is Councillor Stuart Wilson. Over to you, Councillor Wilson. Have to turn your mic on.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. It's one question really. It's about the governance and the oversight of the programme. Typically, for a programme like this, you would do a Gateway Zero, which is the review of the strategic assessment. In other words, what you're doing is on an annual basis, you're looking to see whether you actually still need the programme. And my question really, it's probably for Mr. Harwood-White and for the Managing Director. But given that we seem to have managed our services with officers working remotely, are we content, and do we have the evidence to say that, yes, we still need the office accommodation that we're currently contracting for?
Mr. Harwood-White, would you like to pick up on that?
Thank you, Chairman. This was a point that was discussed at Council in detail under P&C, but I would point out that the asset strategy as set out and is still to be delivered had 3 objectives around regeneration, transformation, ongoing savings for the council, both of which, all 3 are still relevant at this time and will be kept under review, but the strategy itself is still valid and is what the officers are trying to deliver through this project, Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Stratton, do you wish to add anything to that as MD?
Thank you, Chairman. No, I've got no particular additional comments.
Mr. Stratton, you're a little bit faint. Can you come a bit closer to the mic, please?
Yeah, apologies. I'm usually accused of being too loud. Can you hear me now? Yes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, I've got no particular additional comments to add to those that Matt Harwood-White has given. I think the answer to the question is yes.
Okay. Councillor Arnew, you did have your hand up. Did you still want to have a question?
No, Councillor Eves actually posed the same question, which I was going to address.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson, you have your hand up again.
Thank you, Chairman. It's really just come back on that point. Will we actually formally accept what Mr. Harwood-White says, but will we actually, within the programme plan, have formal reviews, including this Gateway Zero?
Mr. Harwood-White, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Chairman. The final business case, Chairman, was agreed at council. That's what we are seeking to deliver. The objectives of that business case are what this council needs to deliver, and if we set out to deliver, it is kept under constant review. The objectives I've said, Chairman, are still for us as a council to deliver, and as an officer team. I don't think I can add anything further, Chairman, this time.
Okay. I don't see any other hands. Is there any other members wish to raise any points? I'll give it a second just in case. Okay, members. We do have a recommendation on page 6.3 of the report. Item 8.1, it's proposed that the Investment Board resolves that the contents of this report are noted. I will take it as accepted unless any member wishes to put up their hand to oppose that. Give it a second just in case. Okay, members, I think I will accept that as the report is duly noted. Thank you very much for your time. That is the last item on the agenda. So thank you very much indeed. And I will close the meeting at 19:44. A nice quick meeting compared to others that we've had recently. So thank you very much for your time. Angela Law, could you just hang on just for a second once everybody has left, please?